Shabbat Shalom. We're going to take the next few minutes just to talk a little bit about some of the things that you can do on the Shabbat. We're going to read from Genesis chapter 2. We'll start in verse 1. Thus the heaven and the earth were completed in all their vast array, and by the seventh day the Most High had finished the work he had been doing, so that on that day he rested from all his work. Then Elohim blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because on that day he rested from all the work of creation that he had accomplished. And then we're going to go to Exodus chapter 20, and we're going to see how that instruction was given to the children of Israel on Mount Sinai. This is the section where it's known as the Ten Commandments. And when we get down to verse 8, it says, remember the Sabbath day, or remember the Shabbat, by keeping it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Shabbat to Yahuwah, your Elohim, on which you must not do any work, neither you nor your son or daughter, nor your manservant or maidservant or livestock, nor the foreigner within your gates. For in 6 days Yahuwah made the heavens and the earth and the sea and all that is in them, but on the seventh day he rested. Therefore Yahuwah blessed the Shabbat and set it apart as holy. So that's what the scriptures tell us about the Shabbat. So now we're just going to spend a few minutes in meditation on that, since we're on the Shabbat at this presentation. And we're just going to ask a couple of questions. For instance, okay, so if I'm not supposed to do any work, then what am I supposed to do on the Shabbat? So that's what we're going to be talking about. This is not an exhaustive list, but these are some of the things that we can do. Because of what the Most High said, he wants us to pattern our lives after heavenly principles. And that's what the Shabbat is all about. He worked for 6 days, and then he set aside the seventh day where he did no work. Now, he was finished. As we move through our lives, we must keep that same pattern in order to remain healthy. So really, the Shabbat is about life. How do you continue to sustain life? Not only in a physical sense, but more importantly, how are we to ground ourselves in a spiritual sense and be able to maintain the blessing that the Most High has given us? Well, what's the blessing? The blessing is that we have enough strength and opportunity to work. So work is good. That's why 6 days we are instructed that it's okay to work on those 6 days. But the seventh day is a day of ceasing from our work, so that we can concentrate on what the Most High has done for us, what we are doing in our relationship with the Most High, and how that should translate as we move forward. So the Shabbat really is about life. How do you maintain and sustain life? Well, if you have a family, and certainly everyone is not in the situation where you have a family, but please remember that the nation of Yasharel, the nation of Israel, the foundation is the Most High, but the Most High builds upon his word and uses the family to do it. So the family relationships have lots to do with life and health and godliness. So specifically then, when we step back and we remember the Shabbat, how does that look in the course of the day? Well, in the morning, when we arise, we meditate on the goodness of the Most High. We meditate on the Most High's mercy, and we give thanks for being allowed to see the day that He has instructed us to set aside for the ceasing of our work and meditating on His blessings that He has given to us. Now, if you are a part of a family, it's a good idea for the family to read 2 chapters, one from the Tanakh, or one from what we would call the Old Testament, and then another chapter from the New Testament, because the scriptures say that the word of the Most High is a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our path. So this gives us an opportunity to take some time out of the week and out of the specific Shabbat to find out what the word is saying to us on this occasion. As we do that, and we have families, we should receive the blessing of spending time with our families, spending time with our spouses, spending time with our children, not doing the things that we as an individual want, but coming up with activities that don't involve work, obviously, but that involve the family interacting with one another. So spend that time. And if your families are anything like ours, your children or your spouse will tell you how best to do that. If you get a chance, meet up with other families who are also in the faith on the Shabbat. It's always appropriate to sing with the Most High's people and to pray with the Most High's people. That is not a work. That is an order of worship. And certainly that is completely in order on the Shabbat. As you move into the evening, you're still spending time with your children. Do you see the pattern there? In other words, your presence with your offspring is the way that you not only develop a relationship with them, but it's the way that you convey life that comes from heaven through you and to them. So the best way of doing that is just spending time. And when I'm talking about spending time, I'm not talking about telling them what to do and what not to do. I'm talking about actually looking them in the eye, actually listening to what they are saying and or have to say, and sometimes not saying anything, but just be with one another, preferably without social media, without the television being on, so that you can actually interact with them as a family. As you close the evening out and you have a spouse, the both of you are giving thanks to the Most High for the day, just as in the same way that we give thanks to the Most High for allowing us to see the day, we also give thanks to the Most High for allowing us to end the day. And it's always appropriate also to ask for His blessing and protection, not only for the day that you have just received, but also should He give you additional days on the earth, protection for the upcoming week. So that gives us a general sense of some of the things that we can do on the Shabbat. As we move into the first day of the week, we're not going to spend a lot of time with this, but we're going to also be talking about the fact that actually the entire week, although it is a work week, the entire week, there are things that we can do in preparation for the Shabbat. So singing is always a part of a relationship with the Most High, praying for forgiveness for ourselves, our family members, for our people group in this evil time. praying for guidance and strength. There's a scripture that says, I will bless the Most High at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. And so on the first day of the week, those types of things are going on. So in our culture, the first day of the week is Sunday. All right. So you can see that these activities fit right in with the things that we are used to doing on Sunday anyway. On the second day of the week, that's when the Jewish people actually, well, at least some of the Jewish people actually read from the Tanakh about their history. Again, praying for guidance, for engaging in the work of the kingdom. So during the course of the week, 6 chapters are usually read in preparation for going into the Shabbat. So that first day of that second day of the week, which would be a Monday, taking 2 chapters and reading from those chapters. The third day of the week, again, giving thanks. In everything that we do, give thanks. So that's a good place to remind ourselves on that third day of the week, counting our blessings. On the fourth day of the week, reading from the Gospels this time. So the second of those 2 chapters can be from the Gospels. The fifth day of the week and the sixth day of the week, there are not necessarily specific activities, but hopefully we begin to see the pattern that we are establishing, because these things that are on this this particular slide, they don't take a long time to do, but what they do is they focus your soul, so that your soul is always focused. Our souls are always focused. Our souls are always anchored. That's why we used to sing this song, my soul is anchored in the Most High, or my soul is anchored in the Lord. So each one of the days of the week, just for a few minutes, we can do things, always reading, of course. So even though the 5th and 6th days don't mention it, but in your personal study, in your personal walk, you can meditate, you can read the Most High's word. And then again, on the 7th day, which is the Shabbat, that's the day of reflecting on his goodness, reflecting on the blessing that he's given to you and your family. So those are some of the things that the Most High's people can and should do. And if we establish a routine that is focused on him, then we are continually in a state of being blessed, and also continually in a state of looking how we can share that blessing with others. And certainly the first people to share our blessings with would be our family members. So a little bit to think about on this Shabbat. As the Shabbat comes to a close, the Father bless you and keep you. The Father make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Father lift up his countenance upon you and give you his shalom.